Have you ever been in this situation? A sold-out concert, the music pounding, laughter and voices crashing into each other. The whole world seems to be enjoying itself, except you. While the people around you grow more and more excited, you start to feel short of breath. Not because there's no air, but because everything is too much, too close, too loud. You start looking around for an exit, checking the time, asking yourself in your head, "Can I leave early?" And almost immediately, you can feel the familiar looks and whispers around you. That's weird. Why are they so bad at fitting in? Must be social anxiety again. Don't rush to label yourself as weak or depressed. The truth is, your brain just pulled off an impressive emergency escape from a sensory storm that other people are too numb to notice. You don't need to try to fix yourself because you are not broken. Science proves that your brain is simply designed for a different purpose, one that's much deeper. But to understand that design, first we need to clear you of the so-called verdict known as social anxiety. A lot of us grow up believing we have social fear. Friends say it, Google says it, and you believe it too. But the truth is way more complicated. Let's do a quick psychology test. I call it the camera challenge. I want you to close your eyes and imagine the situation in detail. You're standing in the middle of a massive EDM music festival. Thousands of people are packed together, but there's one special thing. This festival is pitch black. Nobody can see anybody. You're completely invisible. No one knows who you are. No one can see what you're wearing. No one judges how you stand or how you walk. You're totally free from all judging eyes. Now, answer honestly. What do you feel right now? Case 1. If you breathe a sigh of relief, you feel like 1,000 lb weight just got lifted off your shoulders. You start dancing. Start yelling with the music because you know nobody is watching you. If this is you, then I'm sorry or congratulations. Your issue is social anxiety. Your core fear is people and their judgment. Case 2. But even when you're invisible, you still feel nauseous. The bass pounding into your chest throws your heart out of rhythm. The strong smell of sweat and the heat from thousands of bodies still makes you feel like you can't breathe. The physical bumping, even accidental, still makes you shiver and want to push them away. Even though no one can see you, you still just want to cover your ears and run out to an empty, quiet field. That, my friends, is overstimulated. See the difference? It's extremely important for someone who hates crowds. You're not afraid of people. You're not afraid of what they think about you. You don't even care who they are. You're being poisoned by the environment. Your brain isn't scared. It's under attack. It's getting DDoS, also known as a distributed denial of service attack by millions of sound, light, and touch signals all at once. So, the question is, why can your friend stand in the middle of that storm and laugh while you get poisoned? Why is it the same environment, but their brain stays calm while your brain is screaming? The answer is in a biological mechanism that I call the filter funnel. Let's go inside your brain to understand why you hate crowds. Imagine that every human brain comes equipped with a coffee filter funnel right at the gate where information enters. For about 70 to 80% of the population, the people we call neurotypical, their filter funnel has fairly large holes and works extremely well. When they walk into a noisy bar, this funnel automatically blocks out unnecessary things. It blocks the sound of glasses breaking at the bar. It blocks the low buzzing noise of the air conditioner. It ignores the tight feeling of a shirt on their skin. It helps them focus on just one thing, the face and voice of the friend they're with. To them, the world is an edited picture, noise removed, clean, and comfortable. But for you, well, your filter funnel is a different story. Your brain is equipped with a funnel that has an ultra-fine mesh. Science calls this trait sensory processing sensitivity, or SPS. Because the mesh is so fine, nothing gets missed. You don't just hear the music, you feel the vibration of the floor under your feet. You don't just smell food, you can tell apart old cooking oil, floor cleaner, and the perfume of the person at the next table, all blending together. You notice the ceiling light flickering at a frequency of 50 Hz, something other people never notice. For other people, information entering the brain is like a small stream. For you, it's a flash flood. Inside the brain, there's a part called the thalamus. I like to call it the bouncer of a fancy nightclub. His job is to stand at the door and check what information is important enough to let into the cortex for processing and what nonsense should be kicked out. In a typical brain, this bouncer takes his job very seriously. He blocks about 90% of the noise and chaos from the crowd. But in your brain, this bouncer seems to have gone out for coffee and left the door wide open. And what happens then? Every light, every sound, every smell, and even the anxiety of the person standing next to you all rush in at the same time. No permission needed. That's why after just 30 minutes in a shopping mall, you feel completely drained. Like you just ran a marathon. In reality, you did run a marathon, but a neurological one. Your brain burned a massive amount of glucose and energy just to decode millions of tiny signals that other people completely ignore. You're not tired from walking. You're tired because your brain has been working way beyond its limit. However, not everyone who hates crowds is the same. Even though that they share the same overload mechanism, the psychological roots and reactions fall into 3 distinct groups. Identifying which group you belong to will help you choose the best coping strategy. See which group you recognize yourself in below. Group number 1 is the low battery group, also known as the introvert battery type. This is the most classic type and is commonly found in introverts. If you're in this group, you may actually have very good social skills. You can stand there chatting, joking smoothly at a party, but inside, you can clearly feel your energy bar dropping percent by percent. The mechanism here is related to dopamine. Extroverts receive dopamine, pleasure, from external stimulation. The bigger the crowd, the more they recharge. In contrast, your dopamine system is very sensitive. You reach your satisfaction threshold very quickly, and once that threshold is crossed, stimulation turns into depletion. To you, a crowd is a massive energy-draining machine. The clearest sign, you don't hate anyone. You're not afraid of anyone. You simply feel out of battery, and the only way to recharge is to go home, crawl under a blanket, and enjoy absolute silence. Group number 2 is the sensitive Wi-Fi group, also known as the empathic antenna. This group is more complex and often more painful. I call you Wi-Fi receivers with the sensitivity turned way too high. Your problem isn't just physical noise, but emotional noise. You have an overactive mirror neuron system. When you step into a crowd, you're like a Wi-Fi router automatically connecting to every device around you. You feel the anxiety of the person waiting for the elevator. You sense the quiet anger of the couple whisper fighting in the corner. You absorb the excessive excitement and chaos of the crowd itself. This emotional chaos overloads your nervous system. You go home feeling sad, irritated, or exhausted without knowing why, simply because you carried home the emotional trash of hundreds of strangers. And finally, the third group, the one I want to offer the deepest empathy to, the alarm system, also known as the hypervigilant. These are people whose hatred of crowds comes from survival mechanisms or past trauma. Maybe in the past you got lost, were publicly bullied, or faced danger in a crowd. Now, even if your conscious mind has forgotten, your amygdala, the brain's fear center, still keeps that black book. For this group, a crowd is not a place for fun. A crowd is a threat. Your eyes constantly scan for exits. You never sit with your back to the door. You jump when someone lightly taps your shoulder. You hate crowds not because they're loud, but because the alarm system in your brain is constantly screaming, "Not safe. Too many uncontrollable variables. Run now." You're always stuck in fight or flight, and that burns your energy faster than anything else. Which of the 3 groups do you belong to? Low battery, Wi-Fi, or alarm? Leave a comment below. I'm genuinely curious which team makes up the majority here. And now let's see why this trait might actually be a superpower. Hearing all this, it might sound like having this kind of brain is a burden, right? like you're carrying some kind of curse. But let's flip the script. That very ultra-fine filter funnel that makes you suffer in crowds is actually the greatest gift nature gave you. You have superpowers that so-called neurotypical people couldn't even dream of having. First, you are a master observer. Because your brain misses nothing, you see beauty that others rush past. While everyone else is busy shouting at a party, you're the only one who notices the subtle details in the painting on the wall, or realizes that the person across from you is forcing a smile. Even though they say they're fine, you spot patterns in data, in art, in people that others completely miss. Most great artists, writers, and scientists belong to this sensitive group. Second, you have depth of connection. Because you can't stand shallow small talk in loud environments, you're pushed to seek deep talk instead. You don't have 1,000 drinking buddies, but you do have real soulmates. You empathize and listen at a level that makes other people feel truly seen and healed. Third, you have independent thinking. The greatest ideas and world-changing inventions are rarely born in noisy clubs or crowded public squares. They are born in silence. Your ability to sit alone, tolerate solitude, and do deep work is an invaluable asset in this age of constant distraction. You are a high-end computer system. Don't blame yourself for not running cheap mass-market games smoothly. You were designed to run more complex, more profound programs. Don't force a fish to climb a tree. But then again, the reality is we can't just hide in our room forever, right? That's life. Sometimes you still have to go to your best friend's wedding, squeeze onto the subway to get to work, or show up at a noisy company meeting. So, how do you survive without feeling like a phone about to shut down at 1% battery? Here are a few tricks I personally use, and trust me, they work better than you think. First, use your right to say no without guilt. If on a Saturday night you just want to stay home under a blanket and watch a movie, then do it. You don't owe anyone your presence. Don't force yourself into crowded places just because of FOMO. The fear of missing out only to come home with a headache that feels like a hammer to the skull. Be selective. Go out less, but make sure the events you do attend actually matter to you. Second, learn how to temporarily disappear. This is a strategy I call the 5-minute reset button. If you're in the middle of a crowd and start to feel overwhelmed, don't push through it. Excuse yourself to the bathroom or step out to a quiet balcony corner. Wash your hands with cold water. Close your eyes and take deep breaths for 5 minutes. This short moment of silence gives the gatekeeper in your brain a break and helps reset its protective barrier. Third, if you feel your heart starting to race, use the nervous system override button. Breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, then breathe out very slowly for 6 seconds. Remember, the long, slow exhale is the key. When you exhale longer than you inhale, you're tricking your brain into thinking, "Hey, we're safe. There's no tiger here." It will shut off the red alert mode almost immediately. And finally, don't forget to bring your shield. A pair of noise-canceling headphones can sometimes be the greatest lifesaver. When you put them on in a crowded train station, you're creating your own peace bubble. You're still there, but the noisy world can't reach you anymore. Don't try to change your brain to be like everyone else's. Instead, learn how to operate it. You don't need to be a warrior charging into the crowd. You just need to be a smart observer who knows when to move forward and when to step back to protect your inner peace. In the end, this is what I want you to remember deeply. Being introverted, sensitive, or hating crowds is not a flaw that needs fixing. It's simply how you experience the world. We live in an age that worships noise. Society tells you that you have to push, blend in, and be loud to succeed. But the truth is, the most meaningful contributions humanity has ever made usually come from moments of quiet. Hating crowded places doesn't mean you're lonely or incapable of love. It just means you understand the value of your energy and you choose to spend it on the right people, meaningful work, and peaceful spaces. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are simply a high-performance supercompute that needs maintenance in a world full of cheap background noise. Next time you're standing on the edge of a crowd and feel a little out of place, smile. Remember that you have eyes that see what others overlook, a heart that feels what others ignore, and a brain working tirelessly to protect your sensitivity. Take a deep breath. You're okay. You're on the right path. If this script speaks for you, hit subscribe and share it with another friend you know. Because here, we don't just learn about psychology, we learn how to understand ourselves. I'm Apex. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any videos. Goodbye, and see you next.